The thing that most worries scientists is the threat of a huge earthquake along the southern end of the San Andreas Fault. California faces a 94% probability of a magnitude 7 or greater quake in the next 30 years.
So let's talk about emergency energy during an earthquake, because when the ground shakes, things are obviously going to break. We're going to see damage to homes and apartments, roads, collapsing of buildings and different outstructures, also power lines coming down, and trees falling and trees taking down the power lines. And when that happens, you're going to have a long-term power outage. And if you've ever been in a long-term power outage, they kind of stink because things that you normally do don't work. Like the restaurants that you like to go at are gone. The streets are going to be completely packed because the lights are out. And then public transportation can be a complete mess. So let's talk about what to do during a blackout. And I'm talking a long-term blackout, not at 1 or 2 hours. So one of the most important things, obviously, is to have your cell phone charged, because the last thing you want during an emergency is a dead battery. In New York, during Hurricane Sandy, we had all parts of the city were out of power, parts had power. So people were unprepared and having to go to these little charging stations that were set up to charge their phone. So let's talk about emergency phone charging. So I really like these portable batteries. Anker is an awesome brand. You can take them, put them everywhere. Your car, work, suitcase, give them to your kids who are away at college in the dorm room. Pack them everywhere. They're cheap enough to do this. But also make sure that you have enough power cords. I like this one because you can help charge any kind of phone that some people may have. Now let's talk about lights. So the old way was to dig out candles after an earthquake or power outage. But because you're really going to do that for 3 or 4 nights, and it's also dangerous because of the gas leaks. I really like these Energizers headlamps. They keep your hands free so you can continue to work. They're inexpensive. They're like $10. They're super well built. The batteries don't die in them. So these things should be everywhere. Your toolbox, kitchen, car, work, with your kids at the dorm, everywhere. But you also want a good flashlight. I like Coast HP7 flashlights. They're small, they're bright, 410 lumens on high, but they'll also save your battery 60 lumens on low. Also from Coast is this lantern. I really like this because it runs on D batteries, which means it's going to last a long time. It can stay on for 80 hours. Much better, much safer than having candles. Also, these emergency lights are awesome. When the power goes out, they turn on. So then you can unplug them and walk into dark hallways and garages. But you should have these for like elderly parents who have trouble getting around, especially in a power outage. Now batteries. Let's talk about batteries. There's a million type of batteries. Which ones are the best? I love ENELOOP batteries. They're rechargeable. You can use them multiple times, and you can actually charge these things from your car battery if it's a long-term power outage. But you need a good charger. So I really like this PowerX one. You can charge up to 8 batteries in it, and it'll take about 2 hours to charge. Now your refrigerator in a blackout. So the top part will stay cold about 6 to 8 hours if you don't open it. The bottom will stay frozen for about 24 or 48 hours. So what do? So you can put all your dairy items in a chest like this and pack it full of ice. That's great. That will keep that stuff cold long enough. But you can also run your refrigerator from a thing called an inverter. And you can attach this thing to your car and run the refrigerator for an hour and then turn it off for 4 hours. So here's some items I don't recommend for power outage. Is these super expensive backup batteries that you can get at Costco. They are really expensive, and you got your car and an inverter, they're much better. These backpacks with solar panels, what a joke. What are you going to do? Keep your back to the sun for 24 hours while you're trying to charge your phone? Now, what about these crank batteries or crank flashlights? These things don't really work. You really have to crank to get any sort of power out of them. And this one's solar powered and a crank. Oh my gosh. Nope, terrible. Just get battery radios and battery flashlights. Now, I have one last blackout tip for you. And that is the last time we had a blackout, a long-term one, I could hear everyone going, where's the flashlights? Where everything? Put everything in a bucket. Your headlamps, your batteries, your radios, your power cords, everything in a bucket.